Hey buddies, let's today look at the MCQs, fill in the blanks, match the following and true and false for the chapter Economic and Business Environment. These are all the questions which are behind your book, but we will learn this with proper explanation, right? Let's start with MCQs straight away. What exactly is profit? Profit is the difference between what? The question is, profit is the difference between total cost and total revenue and total cost, both A and B or none, right? The proper explanation of profit is basically revenue minus cost. So basically it is the difference between total revenue and total cost. Hence total revenue minus total cost is called as a profit. Fine. So your correct answer should be option number B. Let's move on to the next question. The internal business environment includes factors such as, for that we need to understand what exactly is an internal business environment. Internal environment or internal business environment includes factors which are under the control of the firm, like the business philosophy, business priorities, management structure, capital structure, etc. So here in the options we can see the internal business environment includes factors such as business philosophy and business priorities. This we have already discussed here. Then you have something called as management structure, capital structure. Hence my correct answer should be option number D, that is all of the above. Fine. Okay, then we move on to the next one. The question is, the term T in SWOT analysis is what? Okay, SWOT basically is the acronym for what? Strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. Hence T in SWOT analysis will stand for threat. Next question. The component of micro business environment are, let's understand what are the various components of micro business environment. Components of micro business environment are basically suppliers, consumers or what you call as customers, competitors, marketing intermediaries, market and organization. The easier way I could find how to learn or remember this is MIMCOX, right? What does this MIMCOX stands for? M stands for marketing, I for intermediaries, M for market, C for consumers or customers, O for organization, C again for competitors and S for suppliers, right? So looking at the statement, the components of micro business environment are firms and consumers, market and competitors, organization or all. The correct answer should be option number D, right? Then we come to question number 5. The term S in PESTEL stands for, let's understand what is the full form of PESTEL. PESTEL basically is an acronym for political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, environmental or legal. This you can also say as socio-cultural or socio-economic. It's one and the same, doesn't make any difference. Hence correct option should be option number B, right? Let's revise it once again. What's the full form of PESTEL? Political, economic, socio-cultural or economic, technological, environmental and legal. Okay, let's come on to the next part of the question answers, that is true or false. Let's look at the first statement. Good business environment helps the progress of a particular firm. Okay, let's look at the note. Maybe we would be able to answer that after reading this note properly. Business organization operates under its own unique environment. Yes, environment always influence the business and vice versa. So environment can have a direct impact on the business either in a positive way or a negative way. Fine. So hence good business environment will have a positive effect on a particular firm. That's what the statement is all about. Hence the correct answer should be true, right? Then we come on to the next one. The term P in PESTEL stands for perceptions. Let's look at the full form of PESTEL once again. It's political factors, economic factors, socio-cultural factors, technological factors, environmental factors and legal factors. So P here stands for political factors and not for perceptions. Hence this is false. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Demographic factor is associated to the boundary of a country. Okay, what do you mean by a demographic factor? Demographic factor is dependent on population size, age structure, geographic distribution, ethnic makeup and distribution of income. Fine, so it's basically based on what? Population size, the size of the population, in what age bracket are people in, geographic distribution, that is how the geography is basically distributed. This doesn't mean the boundary of a country, it means within the country how the people are basically distributed, ethnic makeup and distribution of income. Hence demographic factor is associated to the boundary of a country. This statement basically is false. Fine. Okay, then it says globalization leads to concentration upon domestic economy. What do you mean by globalization? Globalization means integration with the world economy, right? So when all the countries in the world work together to remove the trade barriers and do export and import, that is called basically as a globalization. This integration process turns the world into one huge market. Okay, this is world. Fine. So when you don't have any boundaries, then the world becomes one huge market for what? For buying and selling. It removes trade barriers among countries. So globalization leads to what? It leads to concentration. No, it doesn't lead to concentration upon domestic economy. Hence, this statement is false. Fine. Let's come on to the next one. Health and education are the components of socio-economic factors. For that, we need to know what exactly what does socio-economic factors consist of. Fine. Socio-cultural, socio-economic, one and the same. We have already discussed that. Comprises of social traditions, values and beliefs, level and standard of literacy and education, ethical standards and state of society, the extent of social stratification, conflict and cohesiveness, and so forth. So health and education are basically the important components of socio-economic factors. Hence this statement is correct or true. Fine. Let's move on to fill in the blanks. A pestle analysis is used to identify what? Pestle analysis is used to identify threats and weakness which are used in SWOT analysis. So basically pestle analysis is an important tool to identify various threats and weaknesses. Okay, then the next statement is the political factors in pestle are about how and to what extent a dash. Political factors are all about how and to what degree a government intervenes. So what is the interference of a government? That is what a political factor basically describes, where in the economy or a certain industry. Hence the political factors in pestle are about how and to what extent a government intervenes. Fine, or interferes. Fine. Okay, then the next statement is the main purpose of globalization is to form dash blocks. Okay, main purpose of globalization is the formation of trade blocks. Why? Because countries form strategic alliances, means they come together for what? To ward off economic and technological threats, to make sure there is no economic threat or any technological threat, and retain their respective comparative and competitive advantage. That means they hold their strength. That's what globalization is meant for. For example, one company is good in manufacturing and one is good in service, so they can exchange both things with each other. So that's basically is the purpose of globalization. So the main purpose of globalization is to form what? Is to form trade blocks. Fine. Okay, then SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis means strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Fine. Okay, then you talk about demographic environment of a business is mainly dependent on, we have already discussed, let's revise that once again. Business is heavily dependent on population size. So demographic talks about what? Population size, age structure, geographic distribution, ethnic makeup and distribution of income. So demographic environment of business is mainly dependent on what? It is mainly dependent on population size. Okay, finally we come to what? Match the following. Okay, what is there in the match the following? We need to match this column with the right one. Then on left side we have demographics, macro business environment, micro business environment, SWOT analysis and Porter space. Right? Let's look at demographic. Demographic we have already seen. It consists of population size, age structure, geographic distribution, ethnic makeup and distribution of income. So on the right side you can see option C as population. Hence for one you need to match with C. Okay, the second one is macro business environment. What exactly is macro business environment? The principal components of the macro business environment are what? They are economic environment, political and regulatory environment, socio-cultural environment, demographic environment, technological environment and natural environment. Macro means what? Which is bigger, which is larger, right? So basically they will talk about all these aspects. So if you just look at the options, you would find for 2, that is macro business environment, it is all about political and legal. Hence you should match 2 with E. Fine. Then you come to micro business environment. What exactly is micro business environment? The activities of customers, suppliers, competitors, marketing agencies, etc. in the immediate neighborhood of a business. So whatever is happening in and around a business with respect to what? Customers, suppliers, competitors, marketing agency, etc. They create the micro business environment of the firm. So micro is basically a smaller part. So macro is when you look at the larger picture, micro is within the organization or in and around the organization, right? In that case, the correct answer here should be with respect to 3, that is micro business environment, it should be competitors. Fine. Okay, then you come to what? You come to SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is what? Strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats that we have already discussed. This has direct correlation with what? With the business of the firm. Hence, with 4 you should match B. Fine. Finally, you come to Porter's force. What is Porter's force? There are 5 forces as far as Porter force is concerned. This is a competitive analysis based on competitive pressures from 5 sources. What are the 5 sources of the competitive pressures? This is basically rival sellers, right? The sellers who are in competition with you, right? For example, you can take an example of cars. For example, Maruti is in direct competition with what? Say Mahindra and Mahindra, or Tata for that matter, right? Hence they become rival sellers. So this is one of the force. Second one is new entrant, right? For example, Swiggy is already there and Zomato is entering the picture or the market. So in that case they become new entrant. So Zomato here is new entrant. So again that's a competitive pressure. Then you have substitute product, right? So you can have one product in place of other. For example, tea in place of coffee, that is again a substitute product. Bargaining power of suppliers of inputs. So someone is supplying you at a lower rate and someone at a higher rate. So you obviously will go for a person who is offering you at a lower rate. So that is basically a bargaining power. And also bargaining power of buyers. That means if you have too many options in the market, then you would go for the one which is cheaper, right? So as a buyer also you can create that competitive pressure, right? So these are the 5 forces of which we describe under Porter's 5 forces, right? So Porter's force in this case will be directly correlated to what? D, that is rival sellers, right? With this we finish this chapter. If you like this content, please press the like button and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you for joining and happy learning.